forsake and went against the great mother, who is the oldest god on the goddamn planet. I will prove that. The oldest god, the first representation of the icon of the supreme deity was the black woman, and she was alone with no goddamn man.
Peace and black power, family. Your boy Preach. Everybody get their introductions.
Peace up.
Okay, well, Mac Hussein in the building, Rosset, Knowledge Born,
Hey,
Ramon. We all in the building, Westcoast House of Konsciousness. Shout out to Sarnetta, shout out to Natural Tahuti. You know what I'm saying? We out here in Tacoma, Washington on the West Coast. Finna get into the information, family. So, you know, check us out.
Right.
So, okay, so go ahead, Mac, you was talking about
oh yeah, the crack epidemic, man. That was like you said, man, a lot of people had from my understanding, from my OG partner, you know what I'm saying, he's a Crip from LA, he said at first it was like, just like how American gangster people get that confused, like, you know, they said Freeway Ricky, you know what I'm saying, lines, he said it was really like that, you know what I'm saying, they would like stand on the corner, like with, out in the open though, you know what I'm saying, and fiends just coming.
Right.
He had one homeboy who never turned down the sale, you know, and then within a 6-month period, he's driving a Porsche. Like, that's why they call the rolling 60s rolling. You know what I'm saying? That was the first rich hood to come out. There was millionaires off of crack cocaine. Like, and he's from that neighborhood. He said there was millionaires like that was getting doctors' money. And then that right there is, once they got access to that type of money, they got access out of that hood. So now you see the Crips and the rich. You know what I'm saying?
Because rolling 60s, I think it was the 60s that came up here and started the Crips. You know what I'm saying? Up here.
My cousins.
They start branching off, and then you start seeing them in Hollywood and everywhere else, and people's not, you know what I'm saying? Like when they came here, man, they hit with, man, gangbanging culture hit this city with a vengeance.
Right.
And that's where that Compton comes from, because when they hit here, man, it was like something new, and you know what I'm saying? Like I said,
to do.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them OGs, you know what I'm saying? I know some of them OGs because they went to school with my auntie, and I grew up right here, around a couple blocks up, right next door to
right around the corner
KB. You know what I'm saying? That's my big bro. You know what I'm saying? 2 houses over was OG Hilltop Blood. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna put his name on camera, but you know what I'm saying?
You know.
He's a bishop now. So I grew up right there. My first playing cousins was Hoovers, you know what I'm saying?
That's real.
So that's real talk. So then, you know what I'm saying? Me myself, I relocated with my family to a different side of town, which was right in between where the Bloods and the EGCs were at. You know what I'm saying? So I was in between, and then the homies was right down the street. So I was kind of like in the middle, like You know what I'm saying? Standing right across the street from my homeboy from RSP. So it hit the town. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think the East Coast really knows how hard the gangbang culture, how devastating it was, and how it just took off. You know what I'm saying? We went from riding bikes with each other to, I mean, literally seeing somebody I grew up with and seeing them at the mall, like, oh, you with those niggas. Okay, I'm with you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even though I loved him, he was my first friend at you know what I'm saying, at an elementary school, but now I feel like, well, I have to, because I'm with you know what I'm saying, like, man, you know what I'm saying? And then going from that to having a friend that stayed across the street from me. We haven't even hit high school yet, and he got gunned down at the end of the block by a grown man. You know what I'm saying? You know, but that's how devastating the gangbang culture was. That's how powerful it was.
So that's, I think, you know, since we talk about the crack epidemic and gangbanging, you know, I think, you know, we 80s, I mean, I'm an 80s baby. Some of y'all might be 70s babies. None of y'all is 90s babies. 70s, you know what I'm saying? But still, we in the same generation. And I think that's where our generation changed up at, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what, that kind of defined our generation, because it shaped our influence in terms of what we are today, you know what I'm saying? And when you just look at all the different generations, you know, I always see the elders talk down about us, you know what I'm saying? They always talk about us listening to gangster hip-hop rap and this and that, but you know, a lot of the youth, at least for me, I feel like the elders dropped the ball somewhere along the way too. I mean, and this is like I was saying, like when my other brother was talking about, just to elaborate on what I was saying earlier for the camera, that our generation, the 80s and 70s babies, we dropped the ball because we didn't guide the next generation afterwards, and this was the generation when we was getting crazy money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like stated earlier, we talk about Black Wall Street, you know, how that city was thriving, Black City, but when the crack epidemic hit, the whole hood was thriving. It was getting crazy money, you know, thousands of dollars. Some turned millionaires. It was that crazy. But part of the issue was that because the previous generation dropped the ball, we didn't have no guidance. We had a whole bunch of little niggas out here running around with stupid money, riding around with the nicest cars, everything, stupid money, and didn't know how to spend it with no guidance and no direction. You know what I'm saying?
Understand how they was getting it was wrong.
Right.
Hey, I got an example, right? My best friend, right? That's with the ancestors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about, man.
Right.
I got put on Hilltop Crip when I was 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? So
Hey.
that was my best friend. We went through the streets together, right? Nigga, he was getting big money. We 12 years old, right? Niggas is really driving to the 6th grade. The homie had the Cadillac with the low riders, you remember, with the mirrors on there. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga coming through. You know what I'm talking about. You feel me? 6th grade. Nigga, I'm in the passenger seat. He got the phone books. Niggas ain't supposed to be driving, but the homie got some big money.
Wow.
He's 12 years old. You know what I'm saying? That's that gangbang.
Right.
That's that. You know what I mean? That's that mentality. You know what I mean?
Influence.
The influence.
And then it's hard to stay focused, you know, once you bring death in the picture. You know what I mean? And your closest people getting done up, you know what I mean? So that's kind of hard to stay focused on the real knowledge, you know what I mean, once you see that, because then you mad and you know, you feeling some type of way inside, you know what I mean? So you don't really know how to even handle that, you know what I mean? And the OGs ain't really telling you how to handle that. You know?
That's that, right?
To me, that's the biggest problem within our generation. Is like
They don't know how to handle it.
That's a great point.
We weren't taught, or we don't know how to handle emotions and feelings. So it's easy to react off. Man, I used to be my biggest
impulsive.
Like, and that's why
I still got impulsive disorder.
Yeah, exactly.
I still got impulsive disorder.
And that's why, like I told you, like I call it. What did I call it?
I forgot. Post-traumatic.
Post-traumatic gang syndrome. That's what I call it. To me, that's real.
No, that's it. That is
You know what I'm
real.
saying? Because there was a time and place.
Zone.
You know what I'm saying? And my woman to tell you, like I had anxiety, like, because I go into crowds and I'm always scoping the scene.
Right.
I'm always got people at the door.
Right. Me too.
You know what I'm saying?
We gotta move different.
That's what I'm saying. And then you get used to it, and then there's just certain things. It's just like going to war. You know what I'm saying? Because really, you was at war in these streets, and man, it's just. I think, like I said, man, that's the biggest thing with our generation and our youth and our brothers like us. We never was taught how to deal with our emotions and feelings, so we react off of impulse, and then that's when we end up. We wake up, it's Monday morning, we got to go to court, and we're like, damn.
Right.
I got another
The
one.
grieving process is different, you know, from older people to young people.
Yeah, that's
Right.
right. The older
Our
know
grieving
the
process was different, you know what I mean? Our grieving was like, you know, get back, you know what I mean? And that's how it was, you know.
What about that no daddy syndrome?
Yeah, that too.
Now that,
you know what I mean?
Talk about it.
that is a whole separate can of worms right there. Separate apart from gangbanging, you feel me?
Right.
You ain't got, I mean, even with the guidance, we ain't got no daddies. Even though we might not be gangbanging,
Right.
we still gonna be exposed to the same bullshit as, you know, young black males growing up. Even with the queens. It's the
So
same.
I got a question then, because in today's generation, we suffer from the no daddy syndrome. It's definitely a lot more prevalent. But let's just say, take it back to the 60s in terms of relating it to the prison industrial complex. In the 60s, we had a total of 175,000 prisoners for the entire United States.
Right.
Fast forward to 2014, we got over 2 million prisoners. A million of them guys is black men.
Right.
So this, in terms of this no daddy syndrome, where did that first come into play? I mean, is that something that's been intergenerational since slavery, or like, you know, where do you, I mean, how that trickled down? Because it's definitely more prevalent now, you know what I mean?
I think
It's both.
it's both.
It's that, you know, that slavery that divide us.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And then we had a moment in time where, let's say the 30s and the 40s, with us blacks that were like scientists, teachers, mathematicians or whatever before the integration process. You dig? And after that, it's like now we went right back to the, you know what I mean? We moonwalk back to the bullshit basically. You dig?
So that, go ahead now.
Let me deal with that right there. The community was the focal point, because the destruction of the community was the biggest trick that the COINTELPRO used to divide the community. So when you speak on that, when you speak on the effects of integration, nobody thinks about that.
Right.
When you realize everything that you gave away to call yourself an American or to try to participate in that kind of society, the only empowering moment that we did have back was just what you was talking about, gang life and getting money.
Right.
Because this is an initiation. We had to get initiated into this order. Everybody didn't make the cut to get into this order.
That's way real.
So we're still dealing with the same pre-slavery, post-slavery, now type of syndrome, to where you used to being a person of distinction, but you had to put some work in to distinguish yourself. Irregardless to what kind of context we're using.
Right.
You had to put some work in to distinguish yourself. They wasn't calling no motherfucker a king because he was just next in line.
That's real.
He had made sure that his armies had established himself in a manner of distinction. Ain't nobody fucking
that was different than his predecessors.
Right. So it had to be a level of distinction. In Kemet, in Babylon, in any of our ancient cultures, fast forward to right now, it's the same level. But the Passover, the carry down is what was missing. So the idea of the Father in the physical sense is there was no pass down from generation to generation. So there was generations that happened. And we got to remember what happened to the ones who were standing up that was giving us the information. They was dead. Or they in jail. They were in jail, they died in jail, or
check
they
this
still
out.
in jail.
We wasn't all in jail during that time. Because again, in 2014 there's 1 million black men in jail, but back in the 60s there wasn't 1 million black men in jail. There was, you know what I'm saying?
But they was
so
in hiding.
if they wasn't in jail, where the hell was they at?
They was in hiding. They was in hiding in two forms. They was in hiding with the fact that they had put in some work and they was on the run, or they was in hiding with the fact that they didn't want to be the next one. So that was you was gone either way. And then when they restructured the society and welfare hit the scene the same time the crack hit, there was edicts going out that you could not be present. A black man could not be present in his home.
It's still like that.
Systematic.
Right.
Still like that to this day.
A black man could not be present in his home.
It's still like that.
You know what I mean? So you had people from the state coming to the house to see if it was a man living there.
Yep.
So women, infant,
still like that.
child, food stamps, and all of that was the destruction of the black man. So they was on the run. They was on the run in that manner, and they was on the run in another manner. You know what I mean? Because they didn't have an opportunity to sit still to be able to redefine themselves. And anything that was of knowledge to us, that was empowering to us, they was burning down black bookstores.
That's real.
You understand what I'm saying? They was killing motherfuckers in the street. I'm from the East Coast, so this stuff was happening and unfolding right there in the street. Now, we didn't call it gangs, but we had hoods. It was streets.
Right.
And once you're talking about territory, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Right.
So what the youth got from that was what they got now. So that's why it's running rampant now. You know what I mean? I was a young G looking at colors like, damn, this it's going down.
Here's the
difference. But we was going through the same struggles.
No,
we just wasn't calling
but you know
that shit.
what I appreciate about the East Coast, and this is what Tahuti always reiterates, is that the fact of like the nation of gods and earth, you had brothers that had established presences back in the day that used to be on that corner engaging in ciphers and spitting that information. From my understanding, as long as I've been out, at least here in Tacoma, just in the West, we didn't have that. Just brothers out there just building, just posted on the block, every block, where you would just be captivated by what they're saying and you just stop in the middle of nowhere.
You know why?
You know, we didn't have that in the West.
Why is that? Police brutality, nigga. You know the niggas over there, they used to it. You feel me? You can go out there and they've been doing it from Malcolm to Al Sharpton to even probably Dr. Bangin probably was on the soapbox at one time. But let a nigga get it, on the corner out here thinking you're doing something, and let a whole bunch of niggas gather around him and he's kicking that shit.
Right, he's inciting a riot.
Whoop, whoop. Here they come.
Look at the prime example. Look at the Hilltop Crip whole thing. How they just swept 32 people
36,
false,
I think.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and gave them all football numbers. Gave them all 10, 15, 20, 25 years. You know what I'm saying?
Because they could.
Right, because they could. The RICO law conspiracy.
They do shit like that. That's why it's kind of hard. Like, for that's what makes it hard, because they're automatically going to associate it as being gang activity or some kind of leadership.
So how can we overcome that? Like, in terms of, because
Presence, and like North Korea, goddammit, when America say you got nuclear weapons, fucking right, we got nuclear weapons. You feel me? So therefore, when we get us a presence up and we go knock on their door like, this is our presence. You know what I'm saying? Now you know we're here. You're gonna abide by these motherfucking rules, or else.
But how can we truly do that here in America though? That's why, see me, I'm a proponent of Africa. You know what I'm saying? I always say Africa is the motherland. That's where it should be the home base in terms of where we disseminate the rest of our shit. You know what I'm saying? And how we maneuver. I think we need a central base, you know what I'm saying? And I think I don't think we could accomplish a lot of this shit out here, because even if we did have a presence, even if we was 10,000 niggas deep,
right?
That's when they'll bring in the tanks and everything. Like, it don't matter, because, and then we're only going to reach a certain capacity in terms of how presence are. We will never be as strong as the white man here in America, ever. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if we, throwing a bunch of rocks, or that's just my opinion, because I always say this, we all know that black people make up 40 million people in America. That 40 million people, there's probably like 15 to 20 million, if that, of them black men. You know what I'm saying? I ain't counting the elders and the women.
Right.
Take it to white people. There's 120 million white people in America. Who knows how much shit? I'll say 50, 60. I'll give them 50 to 60 million, and them guys is men. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, and they have all the weapons. They got the tanks, the drones, the Air Force, everything. Like, we could be as deep as we want, and we could riot. We could destroy a community for a little bit. We can go do this and we could do that until they come and shut us the fuck down. You know what I'm saying?
Change our focus. Like we always say, let's don't destroy our community. Let's get like them Panthers. Let's go march on this Capitol building. Let's go march on this police station. Let's go march on these damn little government, these little headquarters type of shit. Let's go do that, not just tear up our own shit. That shit is old.
And it always start with birth, from birth. Some, back in them slavery days, they didn't have all the welfare and the food stamps, and some of them ladies was too prideful. They didn't need that. They didn't need that assistance. We ain't gonna take that assistance, and that's what they raised their kids from. You don't take nothing from nobody. You earn this. You know what I mean? You go out here and you do it. Right. You know what I mean? And that's why you see some families and they strong, and it's a lot of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because they started from birth because their mom didn't accept that assistance. Right. I don't need his stuff. I don't need it because I knew that's what you want me to do. You want me to lose my mind, and and this is my daddy now. Right. But you ain't my father. Right. You gonna pacify me to help me take care of my kids? Right. No. You know what I mean? It's all about pride. We had too much pride. Some people had too much pride in the South. I don't need him. You know what I mean? The men was real strong back then because the ladies didn't accept that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm with him, and he's my husband, and I'm gonna stick with him. You know what I mean? Regardless of what this dude try to pacify me with the food stamps and all this, I'm gonna always take care of my kids regardless. Right. And it's all about pride, and it starts from birth. And the mothers got to be strong, just as well as the men. As we got to be strong.
Right.
Hey, yo, that's a problem too. There ain't enough strong folks out here, black folks out here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, until we can all get some balls, some nuts, some heart or something.
Right.
They do
change. Like, no, we have them. Like,
they do, right? Well, let me explain what I mean, though.
You know what I mean?
Let me explain what I mean with that. They do. It's just their focus is in the wrong place. That's all.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so, are we going to go into the mode of? Are we going to be out sharpening these motherfuckers who we seen fell before us? Or are we going to take our youth in and embrace them and say, okay, you sat in your pants today, but but we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there. You understand?
What's the overall goal though?
Knowledge is first though.
Just be one.
This kind of community is for options. Because everybody not gonna rock with you. It's
right.
not for solutions. It's for options. You need to be able to come into a fold and see that there are options. You have a choice. You know what I mean? Because they feeling that they're hopeless. They have no hope. There's no choice. There's no nothing. So you're restoring hope back into a young brother and sister who didn't have hope before. You giving them knowledge and information so they can make an informed decision and a choice on how they're gonna rock now.
Right. So that's where it starts.
Right.
With the choice first for that individual to be able to make a choice or have to make a choice.
Because we all made a choice.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even though I had information from birth, I still had to make a choice whether I'm going to rock with it or not.
Right,
you know what I mean?
right.
That's right.
So having them come into a culture and see something that they don't see where they at. You understand what I'm saying? That's another component. Having them coming into a culture to see something that they don't have already.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not taking that from nobody. How you come up is how you come up. Everybody, we all had to come up in a different kind of way. I ain't just arrived conscious.
Right.
You know what I mean? I went through the sawed-offs in the park, motherfucker, and did war. Real war. And, you know what I mean? And then go through the army on another set of war. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but the thing that always kept me focused was my people. You know, my religion is black folk.
Yeah,
Right.
damn right.
My religion is black folk. You know what I mean?
Damn right.
I don't give a fuck about none of the other shit.
Like black folks, hell yeah.
And it's hard though, you know, when you know you got some brothers focus on that dollar bill. You know, that's why you see Africans. You know, I got an African partner. He's from Ghana. You know, and when I first met him, you know, he was like, "Come to my house and I'm gonna cook you. We gonna cook food and we gonna have this." You know, he never ever told me, you know, it's gonna cost you this and it's gonna cost you that. You know what I mean? But when that money come into play and you got some guys that is getting pacified with that money and they feel like, oh, it might be greener on this side. And you know, that's when you have brothers slipping away from what's real. You know, because he feel like, well, my family can be doing better if I just, you know, slide away, you know what I mean, from what's real, you know what I mean? You know, and that's the part of, you know, part of the devil's plan. You know
Everybody got to eat.